Hear the stories of men and women switching hustles and escaping the odds through entrepreneurship after prison. Not only will these stories inspire you, but also unlock business tips for financial freedom. Thank you all for tuning in to another dope episode of Escaping the Odds podcast, season 2. As you all know, we interviewed the formerly incarcerated who are now successful entrepreneurs. Today, we have two dope guests on today. Weren't formerly incarcerated, but they hold a near deep space in my heart, you know what I mean, far as with this program. It's called the Chicago Neighborhood Initiative Microfinance Group. They have a program called the PERC program. And we'll get into that. Erika King, she is the president of that program organization, and Maleia, she is the project manager. It's a really great story behind why it got started, even my own personal connection with the program as well. So I would like to introduce Miss Maleia Scufield and Mrs. Erika King, project manager Maleia, President Erika King.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you all for joining.
Thank you for having us.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I found out about the PERK program when I was released from federal prison. And I knew that I wanted to be a part of an organization, an entrepreneurship program that can really help me grow as an entrepreneur. And the program has done just that for me. But you guys are not only just was helping me, but hundreds of other formerly incarcerated men and women, and even also some that's actually incarcerated. So we'll get into the backstory of the organization and also you all's role with the organization itself. So just to kind of start off with you, Miss Erika King, just kind of introduce yourself and kind of let the audience know a little bit about you and your organization.
Sure. So glad to be here. Thank you again, Aaron, for the opportunity. I'm Erica King. I'm president of Chicago Neighborhood Initiatives Microfinance Group. We are a nonprofit, mission-driven lender who works to serve entrepreneurs with education and capital to help them start businesses and to help them grow businesses. And so a lot of our services are geared towards those entrepreneurs that don't have access to traditional capital, like bank capital, bank debt. And so we started our program to reach those entrepreneurs who have excellent businesses or business ideas and to give them that platform so that they can start a business and or grow a business. And many of the businesses are, like I said, underserved via because they are low moderate income.
Okay.
They be starting up a business and just really not that population that banks would be excited to lend to.
Yeah.
It could be many of our businesses are minority businesses.
Mm.
In fact, 82% of who our borrowers are African American. And
Wow.
so we prided ourselves on just reaching the most vulnerable, the most underserved entrepreneur, and providing resources to help empower them.
Okay. Great. Sounds like an excellent program, and I can attest to that. How long has the PERK program been around?
So PERC was a program that we introduced in, the concept came about in 2016.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, we thought we were doing a good job, right, reaching underserved entrepreneurs until one evening, one of our existing borrowers who has a trucking company, owner
Okay.
operator, came in and he would always come into our office and pay his loan with cash. We'd
Mm.
always tell him we can't take cash, but he continued to do it. So we just said, you know what, we'll take the cash. Maybe he just wants to talk. And so this particular evening, he came in and we just started to chat. And we ended up talking for literally about 4 hours. It was
Wow.
late at night in the bank building. Located in the bank building. But either way, during that conversation, he revealed to me that had he not received the capital from our loan program, that he would have recidivated.
Wow.
And that was kind of shocking to me because I did not know he had a criminal background. It isn't something that we would ask in our loan intake
Mm.
process. It's not on our application. We don't care, right?
Yeah.
So as long as they meet our criteria for obtaining a loan, But when he said that, it made me question, and I started asking him further. He said he, made some mistakes in his past, which we all do, right? And he had to pay the consequences for those mistakes, so he was incarcerated. He said that when he, was released from prison, he had a really difficult time finding employment, and so much so that he contemplated, kind of doing some illegal things that
Yeah.
really put him in prison in the first place. And he just, you know, didn't have any other option. And
Yeah.
so, he approached our organization at that time. He'd saved some money to purchase a truck initially, but his business wasn't really growing in the way that he needed to because he didn't have a trailer. He found
Oh,
an organization. We approved him for a $17,000 loan
wow.
to purchase the trailer, and his business, he was able to now then take advantage of other jobs and other opportunities,
Right.
and actually grew his business to about $250,000 in revenue, and that
Wow.
really helped provide the income that he needed to support himself, to
Yeah.
support his son, and to really let make him feel like he is contributing,
Yeah.
towards society. And he said if it wasn't for the loan that he received, he wouldn't have been able to grow his business in that way, and he probably would have started to do some illegal things,
Yeah.
would
It's,
have probably landed him back in prison.
wow. That's a remarkable story. It sounds like I need to meet that guy and have him on the Escaping the Odds show for sure.
For sure.
Definitely thank you for that. Miss Maleia, as project manager of the PERC program, this very same program that the gentleman came through, what's your role there? Just talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. So, my role as the program manager for PERC is to really make sure that we are a well oiled machine, to put
Gotcha.
simple terms, making sure that all the pieces of the program are running properly, and that people, as they're going through the program, that they're not getting kind of lost in the sauce. It can be a lot of information when we're thinking about entrepreneurship and business plans and all those sorts of things. And also, life is happening at the same time. So there's a way that we can be an accountability partner with the people who are going through the program. And so that's primarily part of my role. In addition to that, making community partnerships with
Mhm.
organizations that are across the city, because we want them to be local to the individuals who are going through the program, of course. And so making those partnerships with different types of reentry services, credit cleanup, really anything that can come up that people need, making sure
Right.
that they can get connected to it.
No, perfect. Thank you. I like that. What are some of the challenges you've seen dealing with this particular population and with us reintegrating back into society? It's one thing to try to get employment, right? But it's another thing to um, have this dream of starting a business. Like, what are some of the challenges you're seeing with the young men and women that kind of come through the program as it relates to the challenges of just reentering back into society?
Yeah, there's this, um, there can oftentimes be this lack of support overall.
Gotcha.
You kind of get out and it's like, all right, good luck, figure it
Yeah.
out. So when people are in that mode of, okay, how do I get myself back together? And
Yeah.
how do I stay away from the things that got me in that situation to begin with can come up. And so when we have folks, oftentimes we can lose connection just because life is coming at them and it's coming at
Hmm.
them fast. And so what I try to do is just say, hey, checking on you, hope you're well, let me know if you need anything, and just constantly reaching out just
Okay.
because have things going on in life. When we think about stability, that's something that's lacking. And so it could be due to housing, it could be due to finances, it could be due to familial issues. The range is wide. And so
Right.
it's, I mean, to say it in one word would be that stability factor that
Gotcha. Yeah, no, definitely. I like that. I know when I first heard about the PERK program, I was definitely looking for stability in the entrepreneurial community, if you will. And I knew I had to be a part of a program that was going to really just help me because of course I had been to college. I knew about business from a theory standpoint. I learned some informal things on the streets as it relates to business. To be honest with you, but I needed like that structured environment, right? Of being able to like that's what the classes like provided me, like being able to like break down that business plan, and just kind of really see myself all the way through. And then even like also the value add was like after the program was over with, like we had our like graduation, like kind of really felt a sense of community there. And then even afterwards, like being able to connect with like workshops, you know what I mean? Bringing people in, just kind of like this, those ongoing kind of like professional entrepreneurial kind of services. And I felt that was great. I was like, wow, more people need to know about this, you know? So I would constantly tell people about it, like, hey, look, you got to check out this program, you know, because people would look at me and say, but they knew I was all about business, and so I let people know. They're like, "Man, how did you find out about it?" And it's like I was almost becoming like this spokesperson, you know, what I mean, for the program. And so I really just think it's awesome. Anybody that's out there that really want to jump into the entrepreneurial world and just don't know how, definitely think that Pathway to Enterprise for Returning Citizens is a great program to get involved in. And as Miss Erika stated, you get the opportunity. It's one thing to go through a program, right? And you got this dope idea, but you can't fund it. And a lot of times that's when a person gets discouraged. But the one thing I like about the program that's connected to the program, like the funding aspect of it, and that's a big value. I know for myself and for most entrepreneurs, especially coming from um, our communities, oftentimes we lack those financial resources to get things started. So definitely hats off to you all. If you could take me through, Maleia, this is for you. Take me through the program. I come home from incarceration, um, and I reach out to the PERC program. What does that look like for a person?
Yeah, initially it starts off similar to a lot of programs, saying what's going on in your life right now. What do you need? And if you do have an income coming in, and you're feeling like, yes, I have the time to focus and think about a business, then we're more than ready to start. The reason we want someone to have a form of income as they start the program is to ensure that they have, again, some level of stability, because then, we want you to be good. We're not
Yeah,
only worried about, we just care about people coming to the program. No, we want you to be whole and happy and well so that you can put your all into this, because developing a business is almost like, if you will give birth, right? It's that idea is your baby, and you
yeah,
grow it and you nurture it and everything. And so if you don't have that income coming in, then that can cause as a barrier to being able to fully participate. So aside from that, we'll get you connected to a 12-week community business academy, where you're learning really the ins and outs of entrepreneurship. Like you mentioned, you have a background in school, and so you did have some knowledge before. Time can be a big gap for retaining some knowledge, and then other
yeah,
folks may have never had that opportunity. So we really go into the basics. Once someone comes out of that business academy, then we connect them with coaches, business coaches, so
mm,
that they can really work with their business idea, and also other individuals who are entrepreneurs, what they're doing with their businesses, and learn from them. And so we have workshops that are available afterward, which I'm sure you know about. And so
yeah,
they vary in topic. Most recently, we introduced a workshop series called Starting Up Now, 24 Steps to Start Your Business. And
uh,
so we build on the knowledge that was already gained in the Business Academy to really drive that business strategy. We don't think about a business plan as a piece of paper. We think about it as planning for your future. And so whether someone already had their business kind of going and want to expand, or their brand spanking new, they definitely get introduced to that Starting Up Now portion.
yeah,
So when I mentioned the workshops varying in topic, we've had folks come in and talk about credit,
mhm,
what are the components of credit. I know in the past there was a workshop called the Millionaires Club, where there were
yeah,
Chicago entrepreneurs who came and spoke about their businesses and how they got where they came to be.
yeah,
We really, do our best to provide everything that we can. And on the other side of that, as we're working now, we go back and say, so what else do you need?
right,
And we work to, again, deliver on that. And so it looks a little different for each person, because like I
uh,
said, that again, I keep going to that stability factor. We have some folks who come through doing great, and then all of a sudden, you know what, I need to get a new job because my old job fired me, and then this happened and that happened. So it's not always a straight line.
right,
Sometimes it's a little bit
yeah.
like this. But
That's life, though.
That was just about to say, in reality, that's what life looks like. And so we do our best to be nimble and flexible so that people don't feel like they have to fit into one box in order to
Gotcha.
get somewhere.
And I,
Well,
and I
that's excellent. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Erica.
I'm sorry, I just want to jump in and add to what Malia has already stated. We were very intentional when we designed PERC and created PERC. We knew we needed to be holistic and comprehensive in the services that we provided. We knew we couldn't just say, here's a loan, go for it, good luck. But we wanted to create a whole toolkit, a
Mm,
whole toolbox of resources that can really address not just the business component, but the person. And so
mm-hmm.
Malia, has emphasized they needed to have stability, the word stability, and part of her role is too if, once she does that initial assessment and determines that, maybe there's some other things this person needs, some other resources, we want to, work to kind of be that liaison and link them with those resources, with collaborations that we have and partnerships that we have so that we can fully address the whole person,
Right.
so that they are engaged and can be engaged in an entrepreneurship program.
Right.
And in addition to the training that we offer, the coaching Malia mentioned, the connection to resources, we offer computers to
Yeah.
folks where
Yeah.
technology is a barrier,
Yeah.
so that can't be, one thing that stops them from progressing and
Yeah.
moving forward. And so our program is quite unique from, a lot of the others. Not saying we're the only, but, we were very intentional about making sure that it's a holistic program and that we can, provide that full suite of tools so that entrepreneur can be successful.
Yeah.
And
You know what? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Malia. Go
oh,
ahead.
thank you. Yeah, I was just going to add too. We must remember that a lot of the individuals who end up behind bars and come out, they have already been entrepreneurs in their own right.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we want to build on that knowledge and still, give the place and space to the tools that you already have. Like, we know you're a bona fide hustler. Like,
Yeah.
let's connect those
Yeah.
tools to take you to the next level so that you can do it in a way that's legitimate in the eyes of the law.
Yeah.
But also put your skills to work. We're not going to treat anybody like, oh, you don't know nothing. Let us give you the script. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Tell me what you know, and I'll tell you what
Yeah.
we can add on top of it. So I just want to
Definitely.
add that
No,
right there.
I love that. You all make me want to rejoin, sign back up, right?
Well, once a perk, always a perk. So
Right.
don't
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Hey, I'm an alumni. I'm proud to be an alumni. Definitely. You mentioned those computers, and I remember getting that iPad, and of course, I had never used an iPad before. I had to have my daughter help me out with it. She was like 8 at the time, so but that was one of the things I definitely I appreciated being able to get that iPad just to it was a nice extra added benefit. Yeah. So what would you say like the success rate is? And when I mean success rate, like not only just like going through the program becoming an entrepreneur, like because we know that takes time or whatever, right? But just like actually just finishing the program and kind of like even if they haven't like launch their business, they're still kind of utilizing the workshop, just kind of get everything ready for themselves to kind of because it may take 6 months. They may, it's fear involved in that or whatever, so they might not finish the program. Well, they'll finish the program and then may not fully. Even for myself, I finished the program, but I didn't start the business that I was doing, and I even pivoted to escaping the odds. When I first came through the program, it was a tech. You remember this, Erica? I was doing a tech thing, and so life happens, and you pivot or whatever. And so we can kind of talk about like that success rate in that context.
Yeah. So we when we designed Perk, we knew that we'll have different measures of success, right?
Yeah,
Ideally, we want to see everybody start a business, but realistically, we know that's not going to happen in a perfect world, right? In an imperfect world. And so we looked at our success benchmarks by one who enrolled, right? Who made a commitment to say, hey, this is something I want to pursue. Who went through the program and completed the program. Some folks during the program may have decided, entrepreneurship is not for them, but in that they learned some skills that enabled them to be a better employer. Or throughout the program, the skills that they received help them to seek employment. And so we measure those as success rates as well. Someone may have decided, none of this is for me. I just want to go back to school. And so to us, that's a success.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of different metrics in terms of how we define that.
Okay.
It's really hard to kind of put a,
Yeah.
a percentage on it, but we probably have about a 70% graduation rate from those that enter into the cohort and those
Okay.
that and then a pretty good amount of those folks still remain engaged
Yeah.
in some capacity, whether they participate in Malea's, twice a month workshops with starting
Yeah.
up now, whether they participate in the coaching, whether they call up our lending staff and just start having conversations
Yeah.
about that, they remain engaged. So
Yeah.
overall, success rates have been fairly favorable for the program.
Okay. Great. Great. Let's talk about that the lending aspect of CNI Chicago Neighborhood Initiative Microfinance Group. What does that look like when a person calls Erica or Maleia and say, "Hey, look, I went through the program, or I've just been released from incarceration, or I have some kind of criminal background, been incarcerated, maybe it was 10 years prior, or whatever, but I have this idea I've been working on. Hey, I need the funding. The bank is not going to give me a loan. They're tripping about my background. I'm not as stable as because of my background or whatever, right? What does that conversation sounds like with you all?
Yeah, so PERC is our baby, like Malia said. She used the analogy earlier. We're not gonna leave our baby out to the wolves or to dry. We, again, being intentional, being holistic, we are definitely going to do everything in our power to support all of our PERC participants. And even those that may have not necessarily gone through the program, our lending program is flexible in general. We've always been very sensible and reasonable in our underwriting and really reaching more to make sure that we look different from a bank, right? We're looking at the innate, or inherent skills of businesses and really looking at underwriting different. Say all
Okay.
that to say, we're very flexible in general, but for
Okay.
our participants, even more so.
Gotcha.
Um, we created a special product just for PERC called PERC for Perks, and with that
Okay.
product, we have a turnkey product that offers loans up to $10,000. Now, of course, if someone comes to us and need more than $10,000, they're welcome to apply for that. But 10,000 and below, product is very simple, very easy, very turnkey. There's no collateral required. There's no minimum credit score. We understand, you may have a history of some issues because of being incarcerated. We
Okay.
get that, right? And so we don't penalize, someone based on a score. Again, no collateral, very quick, easy underwriting. Someone can
Gotcha.
provide a business plan, business concept, or business canvas model, meet with one of our lending specialists, and just, talk about, what it is that they're trying to do. And it's a very easy, quick process.
Gotcha.
And we have a very good success rate when someone comes looking for less than $10,000 for Perk for Perks. It also comes with those incentives that we talked about, a computer,
Yeah.
uh, we're working on a secure credit card option. We've had
Oh,
conversations with a couple of lenders
yeah. Yeah.
that really help build credit.
Right.
Again, wanting to be holistic, right?
Yeah.
We empower and position, our participants to be able to not need us in the future,
Yeah.
right? Get them started and allow them the opportunity to grow and get that capital that they need, through banks and other
Yeah.
means. And so a credit building tool is one thing that will complete the picture for Perks for Perks.
Yeah.
In addition to, our ongoing technical assistance to really help support, empower them to grow in business while we have them engaged. So for all those that, may not be a PERC participant, may not have gone through our training program, but
Yeah.
have a business and are looking for capital, we would absolutely love to talk with you and to offer, this PERC for Perks product and see how we can assist.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for that. There's a lot of people I know personally that would love to be able to reach out to you all. Is there a certain kind of business or certain aspects of the business that really, really pushes or encourages you to want to lend lend to this person, or like certain businesses where they say, okay, maybe you need a certain amount of employees, or it's a social enterprise aspect of it that really kind of encourages you all to say, hey, we really want to lend to this kind of company opposed to this kind of company.
So we really, all types of businesses are welcome, right?
Gotcha.
You don't need a brick and mortar. You can be a
Gotcha.
home-based business. You can be an online business. You can have a brick and mortar business. Those are, all options and open to us. All types of industries are welcomed. Our portfolio right now has a whole array of various businesses. We have professional service companies. We have other service companies. We have auto mechanic shops. We have truck drivers that own their own trucking companies, own
Yeah.
trucks. We have daycares, childcare centers. We have folks that have clothing lines. We have
Wow.
nursing schools, an escape room.
Yeah.
I can go on and on.
Oh,
The only
wow.
the only thing that we won't fund right now is a nonprofit organization that is purely relying on donations and
Mhm.
contributions. But if there's some aspect of earned revenue, maybe they could be a nonprofit, but they still sell a product or sell a service.
Yeah.
We can look at that.
Okay.
Ultimately, we just want to see that that business has the ability to support the debt that they're asking for.
Gotcha.
And we can look at any income that they have coming in currently. Many of our business owners have employment
Uh-huh.
or have other income besides the business as well. We
Yeah.
can look at that and determine whether or not they have excess to take on a loan to support their business. And for our PERC participants, I'm telling you, you provide a business plan to me that shows some realistic assumptions and projections
Yeah.
about what you can do. A loan under $10,000, we can easily take a look at and
Yeah.
offer. So as long as you can make the business case that you can make money and pay
Right.
this back, and
Exactly.
so that's really the main thing that we look for when
Okay.
we're writing our deals.
No, that's great news. Again, I'm sure there's a lot of people that's watching to be able to will want to be able to take advantage of this. Now, this is only for people in the Chicagoland area. Is that correct?
Actually, no, and that's why our name is misleading. We are
Okay.
going through a brand, and we are changing that very soon.
Okay.
In the beginning, we could only lend to the city of Chicago because our primary source of capital at that time was from the city of Chicago.
Okay.
We've leveraged, we've grown, we've acquired additional resources to relend. And so
Okay.
we lend to metropolitan Chicago area. So south suburbs, west suburbs. We've even done deals in Indiana.
Okay.
Uh, so don't let the name fool you. If you are in the Chicago metropolitan area, we would love to talk with you as well.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's great news to know. Miss Maleia, what's next? As a project manager, you are boots on the ground, right? You get the opportunity to speak with because we've talked countless of times. So you reach out, you kind of like I say, you boots on the ground. So what's next? What's the plan for 2021 with the perk program? What do you guys have in mind?
Yeah, we so some a lot of this is in process. So Erica will be like, if I'm saying
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much.
yeah.
But something that we've been thinking about that's been really exciting to me is how do we bring people back in, like yourself, Erin, which I kind of mentioned to you that I hope you
Yeah.
have time for, but
Yeah.
bringing people who've gone through the program back so that we can kind of build on this community. Now, COVID makes things a little more difficult when you can't come in person. It is, a little stretched out. But really, if we think about people who are leading the workshops that we're having, as we have people starting their businesses and doing well, come back and share your knowledge. What I've noticed amongst nearly everyone I've spoken to is just this sense and this want to give back. And
Yeah.
so how do we connect that with the program? And so in addition to that, we're thinking about what partnerships make sense to bring to the program too for 2021 as we think about expansion and growth, if we think about the healing aspect to it, if we think about just that person who is that entrepreneur, because we
Right.
get very easily caught up in a title of business owner or entrepreneur and forget that there's a person behind that. You're your
Yeah.
greatest tool, you're your strongest tool. And so wanting to make sure that that person is solid as they go in, and then also really making that very easy connection to Chicago Neighborhood Initiatives Microfinance Group so that we don't get lost in like, oh, PERC program, okay, great. Let's not forget all the resources you have available to you with the organization that hosts this program. And that's something that we haven't seen very brightly, if you will, in these years. And so we want to make sure we really underscore that and make that connection even stronger. You know, how many people you know who say, oh yeah, let me just go ahead and call my bank real quick, you know, my loan officer real quick. You know, it should be that simple of a conversation versus I don't know who to go to ask this question. Even if you're not looking for a loan right then and there, if you have financial questions, you have someone you can talk to. And then lastly, we're also working on building a mentorship aspect to the program that is to be more longer term than coaching. Coaching is more so like a short time frame. What are your questions? Okay, great. Whereas the mentorship will be over time. We're trying to see if there's any partners who will be willing to do apprenticeships. So if I want to start a restaurant, you know, oh yeah, you can come in, you can work here for a month, 2 months, you know, to see what it's like. So that's in the works. If you know any folks who would be good for something like that, please definitely let us know. We're going to be on the search very soon.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. We'll definitely be in conversation about all of that. Any Miss Erika King, as we close out, any words of wisdom you would like to give to budding entrepreneurs that you know may want to come through the program that can really encourage them and just kind of let them know that hey, they can do it. What do you have for them?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say entrepreneurship is hard in general, right? We always say it takes an insane person who wants to be an entrepreneur, but we love those insane people
Yeah,
because we love to empower them and use our platform and, you know, and just show other people how it's done. And so I would say we take that, our work is to take the toughness, the challenges, you know, out of being entrepreneurs. And so, again, I would say most folks have reservations with applying for debt because they may have heard horror stories of being turned down. But I can tell you again, our team is very flexible, very nimble, and PERC is our baby, and we're going to do everything we can to support our participants and its purpose, right? We're here to, you know, break down barriers, not create barriers. So I would say give us a try. Contact us. Let us know how we can help. We would love to figure out ways that we can support. So you can reach us by going to our website, and we can share that. You can simply, you know, type in cnimfg.org, which is the acronym for our organization, Chicago Neighborhood Initiatives Microfinance Group. So again, cnimfg.org, and visit our PERC website, which is PERC Empowers with an S.org. So PERC Empowers with an S at the end .org, and just learn more about, you know, our programs and what we're doing, and just stay connected with us. We won't disappoint. We guarantee that.
perfect. I love it. I love it. Hey, you all are a dynamic duo. I just want to tell you that. Like y'all work together really, really well. Miss Maleia, same question I posed to you.
Yes, I would say, and I feel like it sounds so cliche, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Something I hear so much is, I don't know if I'm good enough. I've had some people, a barber specifically, who I'm like, you know, start your Instagram so you can get your buzz going. And he's sending me these pictures like, are these good? Are these good? I'm like, if y'all don't go and post, I ain't seen a
Right.
line up.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just that feeling, that constant, you know I have this past.
Yeah.
Am I good enough for XYZ? The answer is yes. Yes, always. Go for it, do it. The worst that can happen is that you'll have to start over. And life is starting over. Every day when you wake up, you're starting over. So don't let yourself hold you back. Any naysayers, give them the this and keep it moving. So believe in yourself. Go for it, do it. And like Erika said, if you go on our website and you're like, you know what, I really have always had this vision for this business. I've always wanted to do it. It's my passion. Let that energy drive you. Don't let the negative energy drive you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. As we close out, it's been a great interview. I knew it'd be dope. Took us a while for us to get on, just scheduling and stuff like that, but it was well worth it for this time for us to kind of just link back up. Thank you again for coming on. And that has been our episode for Escaping the Odds podcast. I can be reached on escapingtheodds.com. We revamped the website, so make sure you all go check that out. We got business resources. We'll make sure that we get PERC information on the website as well. Housing as it relates to formerly incarcerated or just anyone looking for housing. A plethora of resources on the website. You can go on there and actually check out the previous videos from the podcast, audio podcast. We got merchandise now, Switch Hustles by Escaping the Odds. That can be purchased there as well. So, yeah, check out the YouTube channel, follow on Facebook, Instagram. We're pretty much everywhere. As we like to say, unlocking freedom, opportunities over penitentiary. So let's continue to just build and just put your best foot forward. And thank you all for tuning in. Peace out.